and welcome to the Priggya Arora Show, where we discuss law, innovation, and entrepreneurship with people who have been there and done that. My name is Priggya Arora, founder of PA Legal, an intellectual property law firm in India. And our guest for today is Miss Valentina Piola. She is licensing and program manager at Sisvel, and we have a lot of interesting insights to discuss today. Welcome, Valentina, on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Priggya. It's a pleasure to be here with you and your audience.
Perfect. So, Valentina, we'll start with your life story and how did you entered in this field and how did you become the person you are today?
Yeah, so it's a pleasure. So I would like to share my experience with you, so how everything started. First of all, yeah, as I said, I'm Valentina Piola, I'm from Italy, and I have a degree in international law from the University of Turin.
Yeah.
After that, I attended a post-degree course in international trade law and IP rights. And that's exactly the moment when I got fascinated by IP. So, yeah, I had the possibility to study patents, a little bit of trademarks. And after this experience, I was so lucky to have the possibility to join Sisvel. Just a few words about Sisvel for those who are not familiar with. So Sisvel is a multinational company, a leader in foster innovation and in the creation and management of licensing programs, patent pools, joint licensing efforts, all basically related to patent licensing. We have offices worldwide, not in India, let's say, yet. So, India is a very interesting country, so we will never know. And actually, this is where, in Sisvel, this is where my journey on licensing started. So it was back in 2008. I started to work for the MPEG audio licensing program, which has been one of the most successful and worldwide program managed by Sisvel. And this has been a very great experience to me because I had the possibility to learn a lot. First of all, what patent licensing is, because sometimes when I speak with people, so what are you doing? Ah, I'm doing licensing. Oh, what is licensing? So, it has been a very important starting point from my career. And then the company gave me the possibility to grow inside, which is also a very important aspect. So I started to work for other licensing programs in wireless communication, Wi-Fi, until the moment when I been appointed program manager for the VP9 and AV1 licensing program, which are the program of Sisvel related to video codec. And here I am.
Wow. So Valentina, it's an amazing journey, and you already have an experience of about 15 years, I guess, in this industry of consumer electronics and licensing. So probably first, let's start with the basics. Like, you have been in the industry of consumer electronics and you have worked in this industry. And this is a field which has been booming since decades and decades. So it's a field which is booming and which will continue to boom because electronics, as we all know, it involves a lot of innovation. So what role the innovation exactly play in this field and how it can be made sustainable?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yes, you're right. Of course, consumer electronics plays a very important role in our lives today. And I think we have experienced this very closely over the last couple of years, unfortunately. So I cannot imagine how things would have been without an internet connection or tablets or notebooks, so to get to stay connected with our families and to keep doing our job. So definitely the consumer electronics plays a very important role. But as we know, there is a lot of progress ongoing. So we are seeing now, for example, 5G, Wi-Fi 6, IoT. So this is also very important. So we are living in a world where everything is connected now.
Yeah.
So from cities to the cars. So it's wherever. It's wherever, yeah, actually. But I think an important thing to mention is that with these all new tech products, so an important element is that this product should be should be interoperability.
Yeah.
This is very essential part, because otherwise I cannot use my smartphone here, or if my smartphone cannot connect with in internet or with other devices. So interoperability is essential. And interoperability requires standardization. I'm sure you and your audience are very familiar with this topic of standardization. And as we all know, to have standardization and more in general R&D, these imply a lot of financial investment.
Correct.
Because innovation requires huge efforts from a financial point of view. So if we are speaking about the big companies, important companies that can be sustained from the revenues coming from the sale of their product, this is somehow sustainable, so they can afford it. But what about small, medium enterprises, research center, university, startups that would like to invest in innovation? And how can we make it sustainable, actually? I think that the reply could be quite easy. So with licensing, because if companies decide to license their patents, even more if these patents are essential to a certain technology under friend terms, fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms, then with the revenues coming from the royalties paid by the implementers for the use of the patented technology can be used to sustain their cycle. So let's say royalties coming from revenues can be used for the cost, and then reinvested again in new R&D. And new R&D will create a new technology, new standard, etc., and then a new licensing. So this is what we used to call the inventive loop. And I believe that this is the right way to make a sustainable ecosystem innovation.
Wow. So Valentina, as you just mentioned about standardization, and there might be people who know about standardization, but who do not know about standardization. So let me take an example of this mobile phone. So this mobile phone has a Type-C port, and we generally see many mobile phones having Type-C port. So Type-C could be a standard because it is acceptable by a lot of electronic companies. Even our laptop have Type-C ports now. So that is a kind of standard what we are talking about. And then there are scenarios where for example, our mobile phone will have hundreds and thousands of patents involved in it. Our mobile phone, just for our audience, our mobile phone does not have one patent. A mobile phone is made up of hundreds and thousands of patent application, which could be subject matter of one mobile phone. So here, probably, let's introduce the concept of patent pools along with standardization. So can you tell us a little bit about how patent pools are formed, how they take care of standardization, and why they're useful for innovation?
Yes, and definitely, the more technology becomes complicated, complex, or sophisticated, and the more patents are involved. And we cannot surely think about a situation where we have a single patent owners or few of them owning or controlling all the patents which are essential to that technology. That is simply not possible. So in patent life, we see very often that there are multiple owners of patents which are related, which are essential to the same technology. You mentioned USB-C, but it's the same for Wi-Fi 6, for 5G, or wireless communication implies a very huge number of patents. Each of them covering a portion of the standard. So if I am an implementer and I would like to be compliant before implementing a certain technology in my product, I will have to go to each and every single patent owner in order to finalize a license agreement for the use of their patents. So this will mean, I don't know, having 20, 30, 40 license agreements. Of course, each license agreement with a royalty rate. So at the end of the day, we will have a royalty rate which is not sustainable because it would be too much as being the sum of each of these royalty rate for each and single portfolio. Multiple transaction means also cost and also the management of such agreement. So this will make really tough so compliant.
Looks like a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. So why patent pool can play a fundamental role? Because in a patent pool, you know, we are speaking about patents which are essential to a certain standard, but owned by different owners. So with a patent pool administrator, so the first step is to facilitate the creation of the pool. So basically bring together as many patent owners as possible who have patents that have been declared by essential to that technology. I can tell you that for what it concerns the patent pools managed by Sisvel, a fundamental requirement for us is that only the patents which have been declared essential also by a third independent third party can join the pool. So that this is a further assurance to the implementers that the patents that are in the pool are essential. So the patent pool administrator facilitates the pool, okay, and then all the parties together so decide which is a friend royalty rate. Friend, I think also your audience is familiar with friend terms, so fair, reasonable, non-discriminatory terms. And the most important thing is that the royalty rate should be acceptable by the market. So with the patent pool, the implementer will just have to take a single license agreement because the patent pool administrator would have been granted the right to sublicense these patents so that the implementer can take in a single one-shot, we call it one-stop shop effort, it will be licensed for all the patents that are in the pool and pay a single royalty rate and just a single license agreement to take care. So yeah, I think that in this scenario where technology become more complex, more patents, so the role of patent pool become even more and more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you beautifully explained that there is a problem. Like as you said, that whenever we have a technology involved and multiple players involved in that technology, it becomes very difficult to manage so many patents and standardize a particular thing. And then we have a channel called patent pools where a lot of players come together. They do licensing based on FRAN terms. And specifically, it makes life easier at, as you said, that one-stop shop for a license for a particular technology. But I'm sure that there can be many more benefits of patent pools also. And have you encountered any specific instance where patent pools have actually helped innovators in sales, marketing, or actual business? Like because of patent pools, they were able to make profits, or there was some kind of innovation, sales, or marketing happening. So, can you tell us something about that in the space of consumer electronics?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in terms of benefit, okay, leaving aside the fact that there is just one single agreement, one single royalty rate, a front royalty rate. So implementers, for example, can count on certain terms because they will know exactly which is the cost that they have to consider, for example, in their bill of material. So this is also an important point. And also the terms are transparent. So typically, all the information about the patents and the license terms, everything, the license agreement, so everything is public. I would say that a good example on how you can build a successful licensing pool, patent pool, is the DVB-T2 example. So for, I think you're familiar with, so we are talking about digital broadcasting.
Yeah.
In this patent pool managed by Sisvel, I think there are two important points. So the first one is that this patent pool over the years has been able to attract not only pure licensors, so with pure licensor, I mean R&D centers or operators, yeah, and this kind of companies, but also licensors, which are also implementers of the technology. And this is a lot important because it's not only that the royalty rate is decided, okay, this is a friend royalty rate, but there is a further check on this, because if even the licensor, which are implementer, what does it mean? That they implement the technology, they have to pay for the technology, and they sell product implementing this technology. So if this is a further acknowledgement that the royalty rate has been acceptable by the market. In fact, over the years, we have more than 200 licensees, and yeah, licensing more than 90% of the market. So, which I think it's a great success.
Yeah.
And secondly, that we have been able to put together all the patent owners having standardization patent on that technology. Of course, over the years,
Wow.
not something that comes in one shot immediately when you launch a licensing program. So when an implementer takes a license for the DVB-T2 patent pool, so it can count on the fact that the royalty rate has been widely accepted by the market, and at the same time, he has all the tools, all the essential patents in that technology.
Wow. So Valentina, I know this is an offbeat question, but I'm just curious to know like how people or how organizations become part of a patent pool. Like how do they actually come up, okay, we are coming together in this because we need licensing based on the FRAND terms. And I know a lot of hassle gets reduced when people come together, but when we are starting with a patent pool, there can be a lot of hassle because there might be brains who do not want to come together. So, can you tell us something about that as well?
Yeah, this is a very difficult question because, yeah, it's not an easy process. And this is what we call the facilitation phase, which sometimes can last really long time, because in some situation you have to put together companies coming from very different backgrounds.
Correct.
So as I said before, R&D center, which are public, for example, have different interests than an operator or than I would say a startup. At the same time, larger big companies, which are also implementers, have other interests, and so it's difficult to put together all these, all the patent owners. So this is really what makes our life challenging. And sometimes I think that perhaps you start with a pool of a few companies. And I think that the VP9 Everyone is a good example. So we started with 5 patent owners. Then when we launched the program, in 1 year, we have been able to welcome on board other 7 or 8 companies. So, so I think this is a normal effect when you started when you start actually the pool. But I can tell you that put together the different interests of the party involved is it's not easy. Also, when you have to determine the royalty rate, when you have to determine the license terms, basically, because then these are elements that should be agreed all together, and sometimes it can take time. But then patent pool are open. So as I said, it can happen that you join the program after 1 year, so that the licensing operation started, for example. So yeah,
I can imagine, like, in the initial phases it would be tougher because then you have to bring in minds. But once a pool is formed and several companies or organizations are part of it, then people would like to come and join, and it will make the process easier.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Wow. So, Valentina, specifically in the area of consumer electronics, because that is the area of your work. So, what do you think are the developments in near future around, I know, patent licensing and consumer electronics? Anything, if you can throw some lights on what we can expect in the near future?
Yeah, I think, it's not easy, but I think it's quite possible. It's a quite possible scenario. So, of course, wireless communication can maintain a very important role in consumer electronics. So we have 5G, which has been launched very recently, Wi-Fi 6 also, and as I mentioned before, also IoT. But let's not forget artificial intelligence. So I think that this is one of the topics that will be even more topic. Yeah, let's call it topic, because artificial intelligence implies a lot of talks for every kind of aspect. So artificial intelligence will become more present in our life, and with technology more sophisticated and all this stuff, it's inevitable that also there will be an increase of complexity also in doing licensing. One thing that I noticed around my licensing journey is that let's say 10, 15 years ago, company, only the, let's say, bigger company were more concerned on IP. So there was an awareness of, okay, what a patent is, why should I pay royalties? So there was, let's say, the awareness was a little bit. But during the last, let's say 5-10 years, we can feel it also that small, medium companies becomes very aware of IP. So if they don't have IP department inside, they are starting to ask for lawyers advice. I think that this is something that you are feeling too in your job. And this is good that there is this more awareness on IP, because patents are assets. I know that in the past there used to be just a legal tool, but they are assets, so they can be valorized and they can make, as I said before, the innovation ecosystem sustainable. So I really count that this will be even more and more important during the next years to come, also due to the complexity of the new technologies.
I know, and the rate at which innovation is increasing, we will require more and more companies to come together and form standards. Otherwise, I fear about the interoperability of, especially in the field of electronics. it can become a very huge problem if we do not have patent pools and licensing terms in place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Valentina, now we'll come again back to your life and we'll come to our rapid fire questions. So, answer these questions very, very quickly. So, what are 3 things that you are grateful for?
Oh, so from a personal point of view, I would say, of course, my family, who has helped me a lot and keep supporting me, my friends, my teammates. So it's very important also to work in a team where you are motivated and you can count on each other in order to make progress. And of course, I'm grateful for people who have met during my journey, my licensing journey, who have inspired me a lot.
Wow. 2 traits that you think are useful for an innovator.
Yeah, I think that intuition is very important because without this, you don't have the key to find something that can be important and really innovative. And of course, creativity. And these 2 elements go together with a good team and people motivated to work and or elaborate on innovation. So creativity and intuition, I think that are
intuition and creativity. Intuition, I have heard it for the first time, but now I think it's really, really important. Wow. And one aspiration you have for the future?
Well, I think it's important to keep learning. So as much, if things got complicated, it's important to stay up to date with the new trends, not only of technology, but also the patent law trends, to follow very closely the process. So this is fundamental to me, and this is what I would like to keep doing and still doing licensing.
Absolutely amazing. I think you are absolutely right that learning is the key and we have to be updated with the trends. Otherwise, it becomes a problem for us only that we are not able to understand technology. How will we apply law into it?
And we cannot find a new, think about a new innovation if we don't understand what we have. So yeah, definitely.
So, Valentina, it was absolutely a delight to have a conversation with you. Would you like to share any final thoughts for our audience before we conclude this?
My final thought is for you because this format and this podcast are really, really unique and very helpful, not only for people who are already in this business, but for people that would like to start with innovation or with IP. So really, and your energy and your good vibes. So really, this makes this podcast very, 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 very useful, and I'm very grateful for having received your invitation.
Thank you so much, Valentina. And I am a fan of you. I think I first time heard you in a WIPO event, and from there I got to know you. So thank you so much for accepting my invitation and being here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me, really. And thank you so much, and thanks to the audience.
Hey there, thank you for attending today's session. If you enjoyed the session, do follow our channel and consider sharing it with a friend. My name is Priggya Arora, daughter of inspiring parents, alumna of IIT Kharagpur, engineer turned lawyer and entrepreneur, and now founder of PA Legal, where we help creators and innovators protect their intellectual property. Thank you.